Welcome back to Short Thoughts with Mary. I'm Mary. Today I'm kind of talking about why I have the rule that I have that I spoke about in the last episode and how it came about and should everybody follow this rule or am I crazy? But pretty much is where we're at. And I'm not going to give you too much information about me, even though I will kind of be touching on more personal information. But, you don't need to know everything because that's the way I want it to be. And you're strangers. Well, most of you that, if anybody is listening, it's probably one of my friends, one of my 4 friends. Anyway, so in the last episode, I spoke about why I have the rule of I don't trust people within the first 3 months. And some people, 2 of my friends have broken that rule. And that's because they worked with me and they saw me, close to every day, more than my own family. So you get to know somebody real quick and you're able to trust them slightly quicker than normal. Now, when I was growing up, I had a lot of surgeries. I don't like to disclose how many surgeries I've had, and I'm not going to sit here and say, I was just so sad as a kid and I need all the pity on me. No. It is what it is. We all have crap that we have to go through, and that just happened to be mine. And I'm fortunate that is all I had to go through, because some people have it way harder and some people have it way easier. And whatever, it made me who I am today. Anyway, but I did have a lot of surgeries, and so I looked funny to kids with my peers in elementary school. There was a lot of making fun of. They would make fun of me and make nicknames and stuff for me, and that was the way it was. And I had 3 older siblings at home that did the same. So it wasn't too much, it hurt. Obviously, I'm not going to say I didn't have sad days, but it wasn't the most detrimental thing to my life. But I quickly figured out that there are certain people you can trust with knowing what. Not at 10 or 11, but later on in middle school and high school, when people started knowing information, I knew that they would use it either against me or to their advantage. They would take advantage of me, or, maybe they would make fun of me for it. And in that regard, I quickly figured out that it's hard to fake a personality for 3 months. And like I said, there are people you work with, because if you're working a 9 to 5, you're working with the same group of people 4 to 5 days a week for 8 to 10 hours a day, 6 to 10 hours a day. So you're going to quickly figure out who's trustworthy and who's not. And maybe this is me, but I kind of judge people on their work ethic as well. And I hope nobody did when I was in school, because I was not a studious student. I was not a good kid in that regard. I was a good kid manner-wise, and I was a good kid I wasn't sneaking out or anything really. I really at all, because I had so much on my plate. And I knew there was no reason for me to. But in school, I didn't try. And I hope other people knew that even though I kind of slacked there, I was okay. I was all right. I'm an okay person. But I would say when we're adults, it's easy to judge somebody on how they work, because it takes a team to get an operation moving. And if you're not going to be part of the team, you obviously have more on your mind about yourself than you do others. So it's hard to trust somebody like that. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule when there's, like I said, things going on at home or anything like that. But when you're all the time, you have something going on at home, and some people just have really, 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 really crappy luck. And I feel for them, and it's able to, I know I'm rambling, but you're able to tell who's got crap at home and who, doesn't, is being dramatic about it. And I think a little bit of social media has to deal with this, where we say way too much on the internet that we're sad, or that I think happy is fine. When we're happy, I think we should spread the word about, oh, I'm married, or, oh, I don't know, I got a promotion, oh, I got a new car, happiness is good, but not everybody needs to know everything. So maybe keep it to a minimum. The people that I'm talking about work ethic wise are the types who also go on to Facebook or in Gen Z, Gen Alpha terms, Snapchat, and they'll post, had a rough day, dot, dot, dot. Okay, sure. Now, I'm not, no shade, you do that, that's fine. But I'm gonna keep my 3-month rule for you. And there are others where you can gauge them pretty quick. And I've had 2 work friends be that way, where I saw them consistently all the time. And especially with my job now, we talk all the time. You hear stories, and it's, as a stylist, it's kind of hard to not eavesdrop. I tried, I do still. I'll zone out or, talk to my client or whatever. But if your client's not talking and theirs is, you kind of tune in a little bit. And so I was able to gauge, who I was going to be close with, and I ended up being right. And she's one of my best friends, even though I knew her for less than 3 months. And my other work, I worked with her and my dad, and when my dad left, we got really close, and she broke the rule too. But I do think it's easy to pinpoint who's able to be a good friend within 3 months based on stories they tell, based on how they act, and a lot of stuff happens within 3 months, good things, bad things, crazy things. And when you go to somebody you're starting to trust and you say, oh, guess what, da, 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 and they don't react the way you do, that's strike. It might be harsh of me to say, but strike. And then if they act how you do appreciate them to act, then there you go. Maybe that 3-month rule's coming into question. And I'm not saying that, don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody because everybody's crappy and nobody's nice. I also gonna say kind of what I said in the Good Friends episode, the golden rule. If you're, treat people how you want to be treated. And I feel like when you do that, you do find other yous. I'm very fortunate. I've got my 4 friends, and some are new, obviously, and I've had one of them since middle school, and she's seen me in the best of light, worst of light, and we treat each other like how we want to be treated, and I appreciate it. And same for family, Sometimes we need to treat family how we want to be treated, and sometimes family doesn't do that for us. I am very fortunate to say that I have a wonderful sister, and my parents are great. My brothers are, for the most part, okay. They don't do anything to harm me, and we're just not that close. But I know if I needed anything, I could call anybody in my immediate family up, and they'd be right by my side. Same with my friends. And that 3-month rule helps me find people, and it helps me, keep my heart okay. And those of you who do know me know that I have a very high wall, and that wall is hard to penetrate, and I still like my wall. That emotional wall is high, and when it breaks, it means I truly trust you at that point. And I've had some sad times, and sometimes I'm wrong with my 3-month rule, and sometimes I'm right, and sometimes that is all I need to have it happen, and eventually I will be okay, and I'll know who I can trust. And if you find out that I'm crazy, go ahead and tell me. I don't care. But trust is a big thing, and if I can't trust you, I can't be your friend. But I hope you all understand, and I hope it kind of sheds some light on my situation and everything. Maybe it's a rule that you might want to follow. Don't tell everybody on the internet your business. Not everybody needs to know. But I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.